Welcome to Intuitive Astrology with Molly McCord. Thank you so much for joining me today as we discuss the astrological energies of September 10th until September 17th. As we are now in the middle of an eclipse sandwich, moving through a period of time that emphasizes fated developments, destined directions, grand closures, big openings, and a whirlwind of changes, especially as the timelines shift and we are being invited by the divine to see our reality with new eyes. Now, over this next week, we are moving through Virgo energies that will highlight what you need to edit, close out, and purge. I will be touching on that in today's show, plus discussing some of the important asteroids that are connected with Virgo season. We have a few triads this week with 3 planets interacting, so I'll give you a heads up on what those are. I will touch on some of the current events that highlight more of the evolutionary changes that are unfolding on this planet. The technology advancements are quite surprising. I'll share with you some recent stories I've come across. Plus, at the end of today's show, I have two things to offer you that I hope support you in matters in your life, whether it is matters of the heart or matters of your career and what you're here to do in this lifetime. I have 2 things to share with you at the end of the show that I hope support your success and manifestation as we move through the rest of 2025. So I'm excited to talk about those things, but not yet. First, we're going to get to the astrology of right now as we are coming off of that very big Pisces full moon lunar eclipse. I know I feel like I've been talking about this for like a month now, but I do want to highlight that a big part of Pisces resides in our ability to release control, how we're able to elevate away from what our ego wants, our mind thinks, what we're grasping onto, where we can hold expectations and have attachments. This Pisces energy is moving through us wave by wave to show you where it's okay to trust even more. It's okay to step back and trust beyond what's even comfortable. I mean, the Pisces energy is very uncomfortable to our human senses, and it's bringing to the surface more of our own deeper relationship with the divine. What do you trust in that guides your human journey? Where do you turn? Where do you go when the world is chaotic, difficult, hard, emotional? How do you call in more of that supportive energy to guide you and help you navigate these very dynamic and difficult phases that we move through? Pisces offers us an invitation into our divine convergent zones, where our humanness can interact with the divine and your God self, whatever that means to you, and allows you to tap into a deeper frequency of oneness, that you are the divine in human form. You are here to be in the physical world by your own soul's choice to experience the full array of energies here on the planet, but to remember that you also embody the divine. And this could be the next few weeks, especially, could be a time period where you're checking in with your own embodiment of what you believe spiritually, what supports you energetically, how you are trusting your intuition, what feels off, what feels true, what feels high vibrational, what feels really dense, and to acknowledge how these senses have been developing and growing for you or not. And if you're realizing that they're not growing, this is a beautiful time to claim how you want to ascend, to work with more of these energies, call them into your reality, call them into your senses so that you can truly feel that you're trusting yourself more and you're trusting what you feel, even when it challenges the mind, ego, perceptions, expectations, or attachments. Again, the Pisces energy wants you to elevate above all of that mental perception and programming that we naturally have and be willing to see things for what they are. Now, Pisces is also the energies of illusion and disillusion, idealism, glamour, false realities, lies, untruth, propaganda, false prophecies. You get the gist. And often these energies can present themselves as a way for us to check in on what feels true and accurate, and also as tests to test us in how we are trusting our intuition and the energies, even when we don't fully understand it right away. As we move through eclipse season, we are working more intentionally with the nodes of fate. And that north node is in Pisces, the south node is in Virgo. And this is going to bring up more of the themes of this polarity axis that we are really meant to experience and tap into. So the energies are bigger, they're amplified during eclipse season. There is more chaos, there's bigger changes, amplifications and collapses, turnarounds and big setbacks. The extremes come through in eclipse season, and they're directly related to those nodes of fate. And so with the energies of Pisces and Virgo on full display, it's going to bring up anything from the past, which is that south node in Virgo, that needs your attention to be understood, newly perceived, and completed. Now, this can bring up old stories, old messages, old ways of thinking in Virgo. It also can bring up anything related to your karmic lineage, ancestors, family matters, what you've been holding and carrying for a bloodline. That's part of the South Node. It can show you in Virgo ongoing patterns that have been passed down across generations. It can show how certain perceptions of the world have also been passed down. Anything with the South Node is meant to be a teacher of how far you've come and what you've learned along the way. The South Node is a teacher of what was. And as you bring it into the present moment, you have choices to make around, does this continue forward with me, or does it close out here and get swept away? And when the South Node is in a sign, it is a message from the universe to clean up a particular energy field, an area of our life that is expiring and ending. And that energy is going to be emphasized over this next week as both the Sun and Mercury meet up with that South Node in Virgo at 18 degrees. And so this is calling forth quality control. Virgo loves some quality control. Let's take a look at this. Is it good enough? Does it meet our standards? Is it working effectively? This is a time for assessing, is this true for me? Does my discernment say yes or say no? And you could find yourself actually being overly critical, stressed, or worried when there is a lot of Virgo energy because you're first looking at what doesn't work. This is a problem. I don't like this. This doesn't serve me. And there is a desire to make improvements. The Virgo energy is about the minutia and details, looking at the small shifts and changes you can make that will change the outcome and lead to a different pathway. So at this time, when that Sun in Virgo is conjunct the South Node and Mercury in Virgo is conjunct the South Node at 18 degrees on September 10th and 11th, I would even say September 12th, you are looking at these quality control issues, and it's also a time for editing out and refining what is excessive, what you don't need, what has been even holding you back, because that Virgo energy can shrink down what it needs. It's like, I'll just adjust to the environment. I'll just do what other people need me to do so that I can contribute. I can offer something important. I can serve a cause bigger than myself. But how is that truly serving you? Have you shrunk down your energy field to the point of feeling resentful, bitter, upset, stuck? Have you realized you've been downplaying your abilities, your skills, or your talents? Are you feeling stuck in something because you're no longer growing within that experience or in that environment? Virgo is practical, so it also brings up your own practical duties, your skill set, the use of your energy, hour by hour, day by day. Are you doing what you want to be doing right now, truly? Or are you following a direction or path that has actually outserved its purpose for you now? This is where we realize I've been going through the motions, I'm doing this work, but it's at the expense of my own dream. It's at the expense of what I really want in this life. And you could have some realizations here that you want to make some changes. You want to make yourself and your needs more of a priority. You don't want to feel confined. You don't want to hold back or shrink yourself to fit into a mold that you've already outgrown. Now, I have seen lately that there is this new term called job hugging that's going on right now, where people are afraid of losing work. They're afraid of no longer having a job. So they're hugging their job. They're staying in a role, in a position out of security. Absolutely makes sense. Everyone needs a paycheck. And that could even be a very wise decision. But this also brings up the South Node in Virgo energies of, am I holding on to something out of fear or with trust? Because if you're job hugging and you realize that's just smart right now, maybe that is the best way to proceed in your industry or in your company, and you want to give it 6 months, or you want to see what else you can do on the side, build up another business or work on your side hustle or gather what you need to make changes to head off in another direction. Virgo is sensible. This is not the energy of risk taking, but it is the energy of practical planning for what you really want that aligns with your heart's desires and your bigger dreams for yourself. That is part of what the Virgo energy is meant to be learning, as these outer planets are going to be ushering us forward over the next few years. So this particular Virgo season is going to bring your awareness to what you are doing right now that is a very important part of your lifestyle, that is creating your reality, asking you to check in and acknowledge where you want to make changes or improvements, and how to be honest with yourself about that. And keep in mind that with the South Node in Virgo, karma is clearing here. Karma is being removed for work you're no longer meant to commit to long term, for areas of your life and of your energy that are ready to elevate. And on September 12th, we have a triad of energies lining up, where after the Sun and Mercury pass over that South Node, then they both sextile Jupiter in Cancer at 19 degrees, and the Sun and Mercury then have an exact conjunction at 20 degrees of Virgo. So what is unfolding here is a new awareness around what you really need that feels in alignment with you and for you, that supports the reality you want to experience every day based on the emotions that you want to be living through, meaning you want to show up somewhere and love what you do. You want to feel good in your skill set. You want to feel respected, honored, challenged. Perhaps you want to feel intellectually stimulated. You want to feel that you're being of service, that you're allowing other people to know themselves or grow in some capacity. Maybe you want to show up and offer your energy in a whole new way that you've only dreamed about. And I feel that this is a time period where people are coming into realizations of what they can do in their lives that never seemed like a possibility, but now it is. Almost like this strange realization is creeping in that what you really want to do with your life can actually happen. And you might feel that push. You might feel some things shifting in your world. They're closing out or ending. Maybe there's things that are being removed from your experience. And as those removals happen, you're brought into greater clarity of what you want instead to fill in that space. Stay aware of those messages right now, not only during eclipse season, but as the energies move through Virgo, and you're going to sense where there is dissatisfaction. Now, one of the things with Virgo is that you can't just stay in that dissatisfaction and keep complaining every day or be passive or go into a martyr complex or be overly critical. No, the purpose here is to look at what choices do you have? What changes can you make, even if they are small and even if they aren't fully understood? You can't see that pathway and where it leads just yet. But what can you do today or right now that is a shift in your own energy field that supports you, that's healthy, and maybe it's mental. Maybe it's simply looking at the mental changes you need to make around your perceptions. And that's because the Virgo energy is very intelligent. It has very strong perception abilities, and your mind could be the worst enemy at times if it goes down into everything that's wrong and everything that's not working. Then it's about elevating that up and seeing things from a new perspective, maybe even gathering new information, new research, new data, and exploring what interests you. And so the Virgo energy is the strong mind. It's also the strong body. And Virgo is connected to a few different asteroids and asteroid goddesses that I think are important to pull into the conversation here. One being Hygeia. Hygeia is how we care for ourselves. Beauty, grooming, self-care, personal responsibility around your hygiene. Hygeia is the root word of hygiene. And her energy is meant to bring your attention to your own health and wellness that maybe you've taken for granted. And that's affecting your energy field and your aura. So with the Hygeia archetype, cleaning up our energy during Virgo season is important. Our energy is connected to lotions, potions, cosmetics, serums, creams, and topical physical products that we use. So this could be a time to check in on what you are using to care for yourself physically. Is it working? Is it good for you? Does it have quality ingredients? Again, it's a time of quality control, looking at what is in your bathroom, what is on your counter and on your shelves, what has expired, what is taking up space, and you don't even notice it anymore because you don't use it. The Virgo energy minimizes, and it's through that reduction that you feel lighter and clearer. Hygeia's archetype is connected with Virgo, but Hygeia is currently in Cancer at 2 degrees of Cancer. If you want to look up Hygeia in your chart, you would look it up based on the number 10 in the astrology software. Another asteroid associated with the archetype of Virgo is Astraea. Astraea was a virgin goddess of innocence and purity, and she was believed to hold such a pure, refined energy that when Earth became too corrupt, aggressive, and violent, she disappeared into the stars and became a constellation. She is known for living on the planet during the Golden Age, and she embodied an ideal of the human experience. And guess what? The constellation that she became is Virgo. She became the Virgo constellation out there in the cosmos. And so Astraea is a lovely energy to connect with because she reveals more of our own human purity, more of our pure light before we took on density, deep feelings, experiences, and imprints of what it means to be human. I think of her as a very pure star seed energy that could represent your first lifetime as a soul on the planet. You can look in your natal chart at where you have Astraea, and she is number 5 in the astrology software. I'll put directions below the podcast in case you want to look up your Hygeia and your Astraea. And she might have messages for you at this time based on what you are purifying during Virgo season. Remember, she is the Virgo constellation. She became the Virgo constellation. Right now at this time, Astraea is actually at 14 degrees of Sagittarius, which I find fascinating because it means that at 14 degrees of Sag, she just received a square from that Pisces lunar eclipse at 15 degrees of Pisces. So this energy is pushing on us to purify our belief systems and identify our own limitations in what we want to experience. I feel that she's calling us into her mystical realms to look at what we are ready to challenge and face. I'm hearing dogma. I'm hearing where we held certain judgments, dogma, beliefs that are no longer of this time period. Perhaps they're representative of when you had to give away your power and live a very different experience here on the planet. So you may be curious to explore Astraea even more, especially in your own natal chart. And another asteroid goddess that is relevant during Virgo season is Pallas Athena. She has been associated with the archetypal expressions of Virgo because of her keen mind, intelligence, and perceptive abilities. especially in matters of military, war, and oppositional forces. Pallas Athena is known for being very creative, wise, and intuitive. She seeks justice and desires benevolent outcomes. I think she's a combination of both Virgo and Libra energies. Pallas Athena is important to know in your astrology chart because she taps you into new creative potentials that you wouldn't normally acknowledge or see at first. She is connected with the wisdom of the owl, the good owl, by the way, the owl that sees through illusions and situations, can see with her intuitive third eye what is going on behind the scenes and what is not obvious or evident at first. I personally have a strong affinity to Pallas Athena. She's one of my favorite energies. She's very strong in my chart. And if you'll recall, if you've listened to this podcast for a while, you might remember the story I told of finding an ancient Greek Pallas Athena necklace that was calling to me when I visited Key West a number of years ago. It is a 4th century Greek coin, ancient Greek coin, that has Pallas Athena on one side and her owl on the other side. Pallas Athena is how you handle oppositional forces, how you strategize, how you outwit, outsmart, and cleverly navigate difficult situations. Pallas Athena will show you how to move through the dark, when to conserve your energy, when to allow the enemy to be fully exposed and revealed for who they are, without having to overexert yourself or engage in exhausting battles. Pallas Athena is wiser than Mars. See, Mars is how you assert yourself, how you go to battle, how you fight for something maybe aggressively and at the forefront. Pallas Athena is wiser. As she sees through the dark, she gets a heads up into what is happening in other realms, what the intentions are, what actions are being taken, and how to remain in the highest intentions and light that can benefit all. We often think of war as being so destructive, very aggressive, violent, and devastating, which of course it is. But Pallas Athena in your chart is going to ask you to take the higher perspective and play the longer game that also can benefit many. She's currently in Aquarius right now. She's been retrograde since June 9th, and she'll remain retrograde until October 4th. But as she relates to Virgo energies, she knows that there are some battles and some difficult situations that you take day by day. You take care of your energy, prioritize your health, especially if people are sending you damaging energies that attack your health, that want you to be ill, injured, and not able to work or perform. She will protect against those oppositional forces that are sinister and evil in their intentions, but ultimately are not meant to prosper in this reality. So look at your Pallas Athena in your natal chart to understand how you are becoming wiser, stronger, and clearer in your powers and in your intuitive abilities, how you're trusting the visions of your third eye, how you are showing up in your strength and power, and using your abilities for the good of all. Pallas Athena is a warrior for peace. She doesn't want fighting. She doesn't want violence or destruction. She wants calm, security, light, and goodness for her people and for the world at large. And so her intention is to bring about justice that ultimately benefits the light and goodness for all. So these 3 asteroid goddesses could be speaking to you during Virgo season simply because they are connected to the archetypal expressions of Virgo. The Virgo energies are strong right now because we are cleaning up our energy, fine-tuning our lives, becoming more clear in what stays, in what we want, and then honoring the turnover in energies. What is leaving? What is done? What no longer energetically connects with you? Now on September 15th and 16th, we have another triad between 3 planets. Venus in Leo trines Chiron retrograde in Aries at 26 degrees. And then Mars in Libra opposes Chiron retrograde in Aries while sextiling Venus in Leo. The easiest visualization would be Mars in Libra opposing Chiron, and then Venus in Leo trining Chiron, sextiling Mars. This is happening at 25 and 26 degrees. Now, Mars opposing Chiron can be accidents, break-ins, breakdowns, collisions. What is broken? What is broken here that needs to be fixed, but it's broken in a way that it hurts or there's a trigger present. Mars in Libra wants to approach in a balanced, fair, diplomatic manner, but that Chiron in Aries is in the pain of a personal experience. The middle point between Aries and Libra energies is in detaching from being overly involved in your own personal experience to get to the middle point of seeing both sides, where your experience matters, your needs matter, but consider the other side of the coin and how it could be experienced from an objective standpoint. So this opposition could bring up where you're on a different page or you want something different than another. But then Venus in Leo is here and she brings in a bold declaration of, but this is what I want. This is what my heart desires. And I'm not giving up on it. I'm not walking away. I haven't changed my mind. I'm just loving myself more. And Venus in Leo brings in more of that fiery passion that helps her see what she can't compromise, but she has to stand in the strength of what she needs and what she wants. So this is a very interesting dance with Chiron, Venus, and Mars, where great healing is present. And I feel that this Chiron retrograde in Aries is the stronger energy. Chiron moves more slowly. Chiron has been in Aries since 2018. And now at 26 degrees of Aries retrograde, Chiron is focused on the medicine. What's the remedy here? What is the healing ointment that will not lead to further disagreements, disruptions, or another injury? So Venus in Leo brings in that bold confidence, declaration, expressions of love, allowing ourselves to be aware of the vulnerability, but to not be held back by it. There's strong fire energy here, which is movement, growth, progress. And that can lead to courageous self-expression, being more assertive, grand gestures, and a personal awareness around what the inner child is healing, what the inner child is learning to do differently in order to be more self-loving and confident. And so again, this energy is happening September 15th and September 16th at 25 and 26 degrees of Aries, Leo, and Libra. This could even be some welcomed fiery fun and creativity that breaks up the mental focus and intensity of Virgo season this year. One of the rulers of Virgo is Mercury, and Mercury will close out his journey through Virgo with an opposition to Saturn retrograde in Pisces at 28 degrees. This happens on September 17th. Now, Mercury opposing Saturn is often difficult. We can't see things clearly. We feel stuck, uncertain. There is a withholding energy, not being able to express yourself, not finding the right words, negative thoughts, perhaps feeling discouraged, unsure of next steps. There's a restraint here that Mercury feels when there's an opposition to Saturn. So September 17th is a day to honor the internal focus that you might be feeling, but don't believe your own thoughts. Just know that something might be passing through or moving through briefly. It's not real. It's not true. Don't overly attach to it, especially messages from the inner critic. Anything around guilt, worry, stress, all of that could feel even bigger around September 17th. So do what you can to remain the observer of your thoughts and of yourself. Otherwise, it could be really easy to do the downward spiral, to go down the mental drain and think nothing's working, nothing's going to happen, this is the worst, and you just want to give up. That's also another energy that comes through with Mercury and Virgo opposing Saturn retrograde in Pisces. But I feel that this is just about taking an intentional pause. If it's not working, don't force it. If it's not coming together, let it be. Saturn is the stronger influence here. It slows down that need for Mercury and Virgo to be busy and productive and figure it out and organize all the things. So just know that September 17th is a good day to take a break, take a beat, take a pause, step back, and then come back after Mercury is done opposing Saturn. On the next day, September 18th, Mercury is going to enter Libra and have a dynamic interaction with all three outer planets. I'll talk about that more next week, but just a heads up that September 18th is when there will be more communications, offers, developments, ideas, connections, and forward movement that happens. So September 17th is the pause, the wait. Let's see how this plays out. And then September 18th, the energy picks up and there's a whole new stream of powerful awareness and exciting options that open up, because that Mercury is going to oppose Neptune at 0 degrees of Aries, which is where you're like, can I believe what is being said here? Is this the full story? What's being omitted? But then after that, Mercury enters into an air grand trine with Pluto in Aquarius retrograde, Uranus in Gemini retrograde. And that is some buzzy, electrifying developments. And it can set things off on a new course. That's also how I'm feeling the energy. So again, September 18th, September 19th is much better for communications, ideas, writing, public speaking, sharing, teaching, writing. You get the gist. As Mercury continues through Virgo, though, we are again looking at what needs to be edited. Where is there fine-tuning required? What do I take out that's not important? And so you might feel like you're in this place of rumination. You're ruminating, processing, looking to choose the right words or the right information to use, whatever the case might be for you. And so the thoughtful analysis of Mercury in Virgo will make sense and pay off once Mercury enters Libra September 18th. Now, a few more things to remember here as we move through eclipse season is that with that South Node in Virgo, it's what we're closing out and completing. And I'm seeing it too as part of the cellular renewal in our bodies, that we are turning over energies that we no longer need. It doesn't support us. It doesn't vibrate with who we are now. And so there is a giant flushing out of energies that maybe you even felt with that Pisces lunar eclipse, as old parts of us are meant to wash away and be cleared out. Now, part of the dissolving of the North Node in Pisces, though, is to make sure that you're dissolving away old matters and not recreating or starting a new karmic cycle, meaning you're not engaging in things that you're done with. You're allowing it to be complete and over, and allowing the energies then to dissolve into unconditional love, to move it to the light. And that's one of the best ways to work with this North Node in Pisces, is that perhaps the Pisces lunar eclipse made it evident to you what needs to move towards the light, where your energy is ascending and going higher. And that old energy can't connect anymore. It no longer matches your vibration, and it can't even get into your energy field. So allow that to be a visualization that you practice, if it resonates here, throughout eclipse season, that you're moving things into the light and peacefully dissolving what is not you, what is not yours, and what you're not looking to carry forward. That's part of the wisdom of Pisces season, is that you're able to honor the endings and see the spiritual meaning or lessons that you went through along the way. So the more that you can send to the light, whatever that looks like for you, perhaps the more supported you'll feel, the more uplifted you'll feel. I feel this energy moving from the root chakra up to the crown chakra, and then dissolving into the limitless miracle matrix of the universe. It's all being returned to God, your guides, angels, whatever resonates with you. And even ask for that assistance if you need it. Ask for guidance, visualizations, and energetic practices that allow you to move energy through, to detach, release, surrender, and return it to the highest possible light. Now, as we move through big astrology, it can be helpful to learn from other astrologers, and I want to recommend two people that you may be interested in checking out. One of them is on YouTube. Her name is Dabney Lawless, Her YouTube channel is called Lawless Astrology. She shares her own offerings as an evolutionary astrologer, plus she engages in conversations with other master astrologers. I think Dabney is fantastic, top-notch, a great person, and I hope more people find her work. So again, Lawless Astrology. The other person I would invite you to check out is someone by the name of Colby Barrett. Colby, Colbe Barrett. He is on Substack. He's on Instagram. He might be in a few other places. But Colby has great insights into astrology. I love his analysis and what he shares, and I think he has a lot of value to offer. So please check out Colby Barrett to see if you resonate with his astrological take on current energies and events. And so speaking of current energies and events, there have been a lot of things going on here on planet Earth. China is building an underwater station as sophisticated as 3 ISS modules. They're putting it at 6,500 feet below sea level. And these are modules that are basically sitting permanently at the bottom of the ocean to look for buried treasure. And I think of this energy as Sedna. Sedna is how we dive deep into the abyss of the ocean to discover what has not been seen before, what's been forgotten, and of course, buried treasures. So China is going to have these sea stations operating in the South China Sea by 2030. And this is how Sedna and Gemini being what we learn, study, and scientifically explore. And there is so much that we don't understand or know yet about the ocean, sea life, and ecosystems that reside in its depths. So I think we're going to see a lot more of these types of scientific explorations and experiments. Now, in the realm of Uranus in Gemini, there are now biocomputers that you can buy for $35,000 that run off of human brain cells. And it's called organoid intelligence. Organoid intelligence systems. Basically hybrid biocomputers powered by living neurons. I mean, it doesn't get more Uranus and Gemini than this. If you're curious and want to look into this more, it is being sold by Cortical Labs. It's an Australian biotech company. There are also now humanoid robots available that are designed to work in warehouse jobs, meaning you hire a humanoid robot as an employee for a warehouse job. Yes, we are here already. They are already being tested and implemented in various warehouses around the US. I just think about how this will affect seasonal workers, plus, of course, those who have permanent jobs, not to mention how much it changes the work environments, the economy, the effects that will happen on our taxes when you don't have employees paying taxes or paying state income tax. I mean, there's a lot of ripple effects here, right? So yes, we are in it. This is happening. And I think it's worth noting that these are some of the ways that our world is changing, even if you don't see it or come across it in your own personal world. And then on the other side of the spectrum, this made me laugh. AOL is officially closing down broadband dial-up service after 34 years. At the end of September 2025, there is no longer dial-up service, which I know sounds ridiculous, but there would be people in very remote places who need dial-up or who still rely upon it. As of the end of September, AOL dial-up is done. And I think we're all happy that that noise can no longer be heard again. The noise of connecting to the internet in the 90s, that screeching sound. Yes, it will be silence at the end of September. So just bringing in some of the topical news stories here and some of the world developments that relate directly to the astrology of our times. And when you're aware of the astrology, you can, of course, connect it to what you are reading about and experiencing in the world at large. And then as promised, I have 2 new offers for you that I hope support what you are looking to create and manifest next in your life. The first is a new live workshop and program called Cosmic Love. This is an astrology-based program, meaning it focuses on your astrology chart and your relational blueprint in the 12 houses in your chart. This is where we go deeper into the layers of your astrology chart, looking at house rulerships, ruling planets of the houses, intercepted planets, duplicate houses, and how all of that creates your relational needs. Cosmic Love is going to be a live workshop on Saturday, September 20th, and I'm going to go through more specifics in a chart around how you are here to connect, date, relate, and mate with others by knowing yourself more. And of course, that's one of the best ways we can use astrology, is to understand ourselves with greater consciousness. So Cosmic Love is now available, and I hope you can join me for the live workshop. Of course, it will be recorded. There'll be a replay, but I'll put a link below the show if you want to check it out and discover even more in your astrology chart about relational patterns, habits, and needs. This is more of an intermediate level course, so it's not for beginners. You would need to already have the 4 foundational elements of astrology down, and you'd have to know what's going on in your chart. So this is more of an intermediate level class. And then the second thing that I'm so excited to offer you is that I know that so many of you are ready to level up your work in the world. You're ready to be stronger, more abundant. You're ready to expand your offerings and develop your work, to create more abundance for yourself, more success, more joy, more offerings. And I would love to support you in taking your work further. Now, earlier this year, I had a private professional mentoring community consisting of healers, energy guides, astrologers, various body practitioners, people working both in person and online were in this private mentoring group. And now I'm opening it up to more people by creating a second community that will meet every Tuesday for 4 weeks as I help you with exactly what you need. What do you need to figure out? What do you need to get done? I would love to help you move it along, get it prioritized and figured out so that you can be more successful with your work and gifts in the world. Now, in our previous community, we covered so many things. I was telling people how to develop their YouTube channel. This is how you do a podcast. This is how you can write a book. Let's prioritize your offerings. Are you confused around how to make money right now and what matters and what doesn't? Do you need assistance in scaling your business, in creating a roadmap? Are you at the beginning phase, confused, overwhelmed, don't know what to focus on? Or do you feel like you've plateaued and you don't know what to do next? Maybe you're tired of your work and your business and you're trying to figure out, do I stay with this or do I pivot? And if so, how do I take what I know and apply it or use it in a new way? Everyone's at a very different place, but if I can help you in any way and give you some support, guidance, and practical advice, I would love to do so. You know, back in 2013, I started my own publishing company and I wrote my 9 books in order to self-publish and get things out there. You know, I've been doing this podcast since 2012. This podcast actually started as conversations with other healers, authors, spiritual guides, intuitives. I would have these one-on-one conversations for at least 3 or 4 years to connect with others, hear their story, understand their path. In fact, I used to help people. I did their marketing and their strategy for their online sales, their online courses. I was their behind the scenes person because I know that so many of you are here to be following your bliss, actively living your gifts, and offering your services in a way that is not only good for you, but good for those in your community and good for all of humanity. So this program is called Your Soul's Gold. It's a Q&A session with me for 4 weeks. There are limited spaces, of course, but if I can help you, if you need this kind of energy, then I hope you'll join me. I hope you'll join us and also see that you're not alone. Okay, you're not alone in this work. You're not alone in having to figure it all out. And I hope I can help fast track you to that next level, that next milestone, whatever it might be for you. So if this resonates, if you're interested, check out the details below. Of course, there will be replays for every weekly session. And if you don't have a question, you are going to learn so much because the other questions that are asked are brilliant and helpful and insightful. And you just get so much out of the community experience as well. So again, it's called Your Soul's Gold, and I'll put it below the podcast here. It starts September 30th for 4 Tuesdays. I'll also put the details for Cosmic Love below the podcast, and I mentioned I would give you directions for looking up those asteroids in your chart: Hygeia, Astraea, and Pallas Athena. So we covered a lot in today's show. Thanks for listening to me jabber on in your ear. I hope this was beneficial as we move through eclipse season, and I hope you are feeling inspired about what's to come as we move through these next few months of 2025. As always, thank you so much for joining me. You can find all of my current offerings over at mollymccord.online if you are seeking any other type of astrology program or course. Otherwise, I'll be back here every Monday and Wednesday, and we will continue moving through these big energies of September. Take good care, and I'll see you back here soon.